got the cornfield calm, Midwest tone, but he's spitting facts like a dog with a bone. Lanky frame, fire-haired, eyes on the case, breaking down the game in the darkest place. Sports scores to murder boards, Hoosier logic cuts like swords. From Friday lights to chalked out lines, this redhead's brain rewrites the lines inside the Hoosier mind, where the stories twist and stats unwind. He's a legend in flannel, mic in hand, digging deep where few can stand. From touchdowns to crime scenes raw, he's got the truth in every draw. Yeah, step in if you dare to find what's brewing inside the Hoosier mind. He'll talk Pacers, Colts, or Colts on trial. Hoosier humor with a devilish smile. He's that redhead sleuth with a box of clues. Takes your headline, breaks the news. With every stat and every scream, he's painting portraits in your stream. Don't blink, he'll tie it tight. From game night wins to murder flight. Inside the Hoosier mind, where the facts hit hard and the lines are blind. He's a ginger ninja, sleuth and slick, cracking cases play by play quick. From courtrooms to the hardwood floor, he digs for more than just the score. Tune in and don't rewind, you're deep now inside the Hoosier mind.
All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome into Inside the Hoosier Mind, brought to you by Military Broadcast Radio, helping give veterans a voice, as well as Gunfighter Beard Co. If you want a great beards like Mike and I have, check him out. He's a Marine out of South Carolina. Everything made and shipped here in the good old US of A. So if you want great beard products, check out Gunfighter Beard Co. We are back with a post-NFL draft. I know I kept saying that Mike and I were going to do a show before, and unfortunately it just didn't work out because I was going through a coaching seminar on how to be a coach, learned a whole lot. It's called Soldiers to Sidelines. Really cool organization, really cool. So if you're a veteran and you want to potentially become a coach, definitely check that out. And Mike had some stuff that he was got going on as far as, his job, life. He's watching the Cubbies go on a pretty good win streak there for a hot minute. Yep. But yeah, I mean, it was a crazy draft. I know a lot of people weren't high on this draft class, buddy. And I don't know why. I was a huge fan of this draft class. Like, I think on paper, this has a chance to be one really good draft class, at least on paper, because I watched basically most of these guys their entire college career. But Mike, buddy, I appreciate you coming in and hopping in with us, and excited to talk some ball with you because, man, there's so much to talk about for this. But then the bad part is this is like all we got.
This is it.
Until like August.
This is it till August, baby. It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm happy to be here, man. I mean, it's been a while. We've been looking forward to it, really just breaking it down. We had a very interesting draft list, which I would like to say as a guy who follows college football very well, but was not interested in this draft class whatsoever. For some reason, even though things didn't turn out the way I thought they were, I was right on a good handful of those picks. I thought Love was going to Arizona, which I think everybody thought I was insane when I said Love was going to Arizona. And the only reason I had Love going there was because I truly just felt like they were incompetent and didn't know what direction they were going in, which is like, oh, shiny toy. Let's get the shiny toy instead of the stability or the nice house or the meal and warm clothes. No. Shiny toy always. So, shout out Arizona. I did have Reese, but did not expect Reese to fall. That was crazy. That was look, they couldn't have had a better situation fall into their lap. Now, I will say I'm really excited for the shows we do in the next couple of weeks and over the next couple of months, because I mean, now we're looking at teams that have too much of a problem. The Bears have way too many tight ends for the 30th time this decade. You have the Giants, who have so many defensive linemen, even after trading Dexter. I mean, it's we have a lot of situations. I definitely don't think it's overtone. Like, I know we're talking like this is kind of like our final hurrah for the next few
Like
months,
3 months. Yeah.
I definitely think more moves are coming. I saw it really quick, and then we'll get into the show. Saw Scotty Miller, Tampa Bay legend, is having a visit with not only Detroit but the Da Bears. And Tone, I just saw this. My buddy sent it to me. I don't know the validity to it at the moment, but kind of one of those guys that doesn't send me bullshit, you know. Russell Wilson is potentially going to have a visit with the New York Jets, which. Yeah. So
Jets thing they could do.
They love it, man. He's probably gonna get his own office, his own private toilet, and it's interesting to see what happens. But according to this right here, it's from SNY, which pretty credible source. They do a lot of stuff. It says the Jets hosted Russell Wilson for a visit yesterday and are considering him to be their backup quarterback behind Geno Smith, per multiple reports. I just want to get that out there because I did not realize he was still in the league, and that was a head scratcher for me.
Well, if you remember, he was on the Giants last year. He did technically start a couple times, but then you also saw Brian Dable go in after Dart got hurt. Yeah. Russ came in, absolutely jacked it up, and Dayball's like, "Get him out."
Never seen again.
Yeah, Dart, go back in there. You're getting like 8 shots of painkillers. Like, just get back in there. You are not sitting down.
Who's got a concussion? Not you. Yeah,
not you.
No. And then, of course, a tale as old as time, one of the last remaining free agents for the 5th year in a row is Aaron Rodgers. I don't know what the fuck's going on, Tone. I feel like we're at the point where it's like, dude, if you want to be here, cool. Tone, like, really quick, I know we got a show to do, but like, I just missed you. And also, like,
I missed you too, buddy.
Like, it pisses me off because you're holding off on signing $1 million deal or a multi-million-dollar deal. You're just like, I'll get to it when I get to it. The way I would walk, the way I would drag my nuts through glass from Chicago to New York for a multi-million-dollar 1-year deal. You selfish fuck. Oh my gosh, Aaron Rodgers, figure it the fuck out, because it's frustrating, but I am happy that like ESPN isn't making it a big headline this year. Like the other year, like, when will he sign? You know,
where will he sign? Where will he go?
Is he out of the forest yet? Like, come on, brother. Like, but yeah, that's my gripes.
And the bad part is we probably won't find out till like July.
Training camp, brother.
Like right before the season starts, we'll find out. That's the really bad part. But no, I mean, I agree. It's one of those like I see it, and again, a few shows like sprinkle it in here and there. I think it's mostly because he does have that deep connection with Pat McAfee. They're like, we'll leave it for that. Like, if it happens on there, cool. But if not, you know, we still don't know anyway. It's
don't mess with Pat.
Right. But no, we do have a good show. Mike and I are going to give a couple of our hot takes as far as who our 2 best and 2 worst picks are from the first round. And I might even expand that to just really any part of the draft. If we feel like there was any steals, if there's kind of any reaches. This one actually ended up changing, and I messaged Mike about it a little bit later. Diego Pavia was not drafted, but as of today, he signed a 3-year deal with the Baltimore Ravens. And whether or not Pat McAfee was kind of pitched him as the perfect UFL product, and we'll get into whether or not maybe that should become more of a thing for some of these guys. Test out the UFL the last couple of weeks of their season, and then maybe it gets changed. Maybe they end up becoming undrafted free agents that actually sign with a team. And then, of course, the last thing that we'll talk about, the whole SEC versus Big Ten, as far as all the hype, especially after the draft is over, everything like that. So it's going to be a fun show. I'm excited. Mike and I haven't been able to talk ball for a hot minute, and I think that's one of the things we love doing more than anything, because I'll be honest, we could probably talk ball for a hot amount of hours, and at the end of it, we're both going to be like, God, can football just get here so we can just keep the nostalgia going. But let's start with the first part, though. Let's start with the draft, buddy. So do you have any 2 picks? Like I said, I'll kind of extend it to the entire draft, not just for the first round. Do you have any 2 picks that you're like, man, these are absolutely great picks that you're just a big fan of?
Yeah, one, I mean, Dylan Thieneman from Oregon, safety out of Oregon, going to the Chicago Bears. I mean, what a move. First of all, the guy has aura. I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited for the swaggy vibes. We saw Colson Loveland come into the building, Caleb Williams, Roma Dunze, Luther Burden III. Like, you're bringing in guys who just have not only their own brand or style, but honestly, just their own personalities, and being able to mesh all of that with Ben Johnson and one of the greatest coaching staffs, which I believe is built from a player's coaching staff. These are guys who are former players in this league, and it's just so much fun to add a guy like that. And I say that, and not just because I'm a Bears fan, but really didn't expect him to go at 25. I had him going in the top 15. I expected Minnesota, if anybody, to go after him. I think Minnesota took a shot in the dark that they didn't address the safety position, which is funny because my comp for him was actually Harrison Smith, which is like really cool. I was like, oh, this is the new Harrison Smith. Like, this is going to be awesome. But another one, and it's not a hot take at all, but Reese at 5 is kind of where I was at, where I was like, damn, like, I don't know what happened there for him to drop from arguably the number 1 pick that is not named Fernando Mendoza to go down the 5, especially when you look at the needs of the other teams. It was interesting, man. I really don't know what to make of it. I really don't know how to explain or make right of what really went down. I mean, it's interesting, man. I mean, especially when you break down Bailey going over him. That's the one where you just kind of scratch your head at that one, and you understand that you're going edge regardless. But I mean, what they saw from David Bailey over Reese is really interesting to me. Love going third, like we talked about. I don't think we have to talk anymore about it. But Love going third is an interesting move. But I do want to say something. Carnell Tate. I want to give a huge shout out to Carnell Tate. What an incredible human being. What an incredible story. A kid from Chicago. Being able to be paired up with Cam Ward is going to be really cool, man. I'm telling you, Tone, I know you already know the kid, but like, if you don't know his full story about everything that he went through growing up in the city, like losing his mom, and just so much more, it's really incredible and really remarkable to see him go in the top 5. And I thought that was really special. That's one of those moves where it's like, you as a Chicagoan can sit there and say, I'm going to root for this kid the rest of his career. I don't care where it goes. And it's just really cool to me. So those are my ones, really. Dylan Thieneman, obviously, like I said, and then Reese landing at 5, just a crazy one to me.
Okay. And well, that's why I think, and a lot of people, like I said, they weren't fans of the draft. Like, I was watching videos and they're like, oh, I just don't like this draft. It wasn't a very good one. Yeah. Like, when you looked at the first 15, like, realistically, you could make the argument that almost everybody in this draft, as far as where they fell, who they ended up going to, this draft was just so deep with talented players. Like you said, you had David Bailey, who you could have made the argument that he would be a top 5, top 10 pick. And the same with Arvell Reese. I know for my mock draft, I had Arvell Reese going number 2. I think the main difference, at least from what I watched in college, is, to me, Arvell Reese has that ability to drop back more in coverage and kind of play more of that outside linebacker spot than David Bailey does. So I think that might be part of why they went more. The Jets went more of just pure edge rusher more than trying to get the linebacking part. And then the Giants, it's one of those, oh man, if he falls in our lap, like, we can't say no. Tennessee didn't get him, which is kind of surprising that Robert Saleh, being a defensive guy, didn't go get a defensive guy, because you would think he would. But, like you said with Carnell Tate, the only thing that makes me kind of worry about Carnell Tate is, even though he was considered like one of the top wide receivers in this draft, he was never the number 1 wide receiver for Ohio State at any point in his career, which is crazy to think and realize when you look at how deep that Ohio State wide receiver room has been for long, and still is. It's like, you weren't even the number 1 last year, like Jeremiah Smith was. You just benefited from that.
Now, can I ask you this though? Because this was something that I found really interesting. Not to get too off topic, because I want to hear your biggest steals of the draft as well. But looking at what the Saints were able to do, looking what other teams were able to do, you have a guy that ends up in Philly that I think a lot of people were shocked in Lemon.
Oh yeah.
Lemon dropping to 20th. Was
Mhm.
that a shock to you based off the wide receivers in this draft class? Because I think a lot of people, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but because of social media and the lack of coverage on the draft this year, I think a lot
Mhm.
of people expected him to be a top 2, top 3 wide receiver taken.
Yeah, and I think too the other thing that I look at of there's a lot of teams that they need help on that offensive side of the ball, but it was ones that they also needed help on the defensive side of the ball. Like realistically, when I look at some of these teams, like realistically, the Jets could have used another wide receiver to pair with
Oh, yeah.
Garrett Wilson. The Cardinals definitely needed somebody to pair with Marvin Harrison Jr. Obviously, the Titans needed somebody for Cam Ward to throw to. Like
Yeah.
the Giants needed a wide receiver to pair with Malik Neighbors because I don't know how much they still believe in Jalen Hyatt.
And he,
You know, the,
also, I mean, Neighbors is coming off that ACL tear. How much pressure are you really going to put on him this
right.
early in the year?
And how much of a low workload do you want to put on him to try to get him back into game shape and game speed and everything like that? Like I'm sure he's still taking care of himself as the offseason and everything has, come about, but still getting him back into that. Realistically, we could have even seen the Chiefs go that direction because they really don't have that number one guy like Rashid Rice, Xavier Worthy. They're
Hey,
like a lot of off the field
look,
issues.
look,
Like,
look. All I'm going to say is Lemon, Rice in the same room.
woo.
Oh, my. PR nightmare.
But nonetheless, I mean, they could have Washington. I feel like needs somebody to pair with Terry McLaurin, especially then since they let Debo go.
Where the
So
fuck is
really, the
Debo?
Saints after that were the Saints and the Browns were the only ones left after that. It's like, man, y'all need a lot of help. Y'all need a lot of help in multiple spots. And I think the other thing that surprises me is that the Giants, even at 10, they still decided to go back to the offensive line to try to fix that up for Jackson Dart and Francis Maui Noah instead of getting Lemon. So I'll be honest, I wasn't as high on Tyson, especially going to the Saints, mainly being because Tyson has a bad injury history. Like he's only played. Go ahead, buddy.
I'm listening to everything you're saying, but I just hope you know you lost me like 2 minutes ago when you reminded me that Debo Samuel is still a free agent.
Yeah, he's a free agent.
The fuck? You said that. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? Debo is totally still on the Commanders, and he's a fucking free agent.
Yeah, it was a 1-year deal last year, basically.
This free agency sucks, dude.
Yeah, it's bad, man.
Why is everyone fucking dragging dick?
But no,
sorry,
I mean,
sorry.
no, you're good, buddy. You're good. So I mean, all of this, like I said, I was a big fan of this draft, but Mekhi Lemon going all the way down to 20, it is surprising. Like I thought there was a multitude of other teams that would have potentially taken him. Like again, I thought the Browns could have because they were there. I thought the Giants maybe would have reached for him. Honestly, I thought the Dolphins might have even gone for him because right now I think Malik Washington is their number one wide receiver since they traded away Jalen Waddle.
Mm-hmm.
The Panthers were right there before them. So it is kind of a surprise, but it's also one of those because of how deep the draft was, there was going to be somebody that was supposed to be like a top 10, top 15 pick was going to fall because I didn't see that many people trying to trade back in to get one of those top round picks, especially with the amount of cost and draft capital for the future that you would have to pay to get some of these guys. But anyway, as far as my two favorite picks, believe it or not, there's not a lot of them in round 1 that I was a huge fan of. I was actually a bigger fan of some of the later round ones. I was a huge fan of Jacob Rodriguez coming out of Texas Tech, going to the Miami Dolphins. I thought he gives them a lot of leadership, a lot of experience. He's also he's got a really cool story because he actually started as a quarterback, did a walk-on at Texas Tech. His wife is a Army helicopter pilot, which is pretty badass. And I thought he just did great for Texas Tech all of last year. And then another one that I would say, and I know we talked about it actually in the group chat. So I'm going to say probably even 2. So 3 actually. Jermod McCoy out of Tennessee, the cornerback that had he not been injured, more than likely he was also going to be a top 10 pick coming out of Tennessee. I thought the Raiders getting him at the beginning of the 4th round, absolute steal. I really liked that pick actually for them, especially because it's high risk but high reward. Like if it works out, he could absolutely be a stud. And then one I'm excited for, but I don't know how well it's going to work out for him, but I hope it works out really well. I really liked Harold Perkins to the Falcons basically at the end of the 6th round.
Okay.
Watching him at LSU, like his freshman year, I think he had 10.5 sacks. Like he was all over the place. He ends up getting hurt his sophomore season. Kind of has a bit of a down year his junior season when he comes back. And then last year, I don't know what they were doing with him. They didn't have him be a pass rusher. They had him more be in coverage. And he actually did pretty well in coverage. He got a couple picks, but it's like he's a natural born edge rusher. And that's what I would keep him at. And I really liked them getting him. One that I almost mentioned, but I feel like he's going to get overshadowed. I love Taylon Green, the quarterback out of Arkansas, going to Cleveland. But you're going to Cleveland and that whole quarterback drama situation of, is it Deshaun? Is it Dylan Gabriel? Is it Shador? So I'm like, man, that's not even fair for him. But I liked watching him in college. I wish he actually could have stayed another year in college.
Also, why the fuck are we talking about Dylan Gabriel? But that's a whole different conversation. But hey, but I do want to mention a guy because I kind of glossed over it a little bit, and I think because he's in the division, I just didn't want to talk about it. Caleb Banks, 6'6", 330 pounds, 23 years old. This is a guy that I think over the last couple of years I've heard his name a lot, and for whatever reason, he goes to the Minnesota Vikings in the later of the 1st round, really. And that kind of really surprised me, Tone, but I will take my bias out of it. If he can figure it out, and I believe they still have Brian Flores, if I'm not mistaken, in Minnesota.
Yep.
If they can figure it out, that is a nightmare for Joe Tooney, Caleb Williams, and the Chicago Bears, because the purple, what do they always call them? The purple monsters?
Purple people eaters.
Yeah, the purple people eaters. That's a scary one right there. I just wanted to mention it because I do definitely think a lot of the defensive guys really kind of just got snubbed in this draft, man. I really feel that way.
Yeah. And there is one other name I would probably throw out there that I just kind of liked the aura and the message he immediately sent. And I think part of it was he probably felt a little disrespected because of how, far he fell. Sure. I loved Ruben Bain getting drafted to Tampa, and he's like, Ruben Bain, Tampa Bay Buccaneer. He walks out, just grabs the hat, doesn't even stop for the mirror to pose, has the hat on, sunglasses, is all business. He's like, if you ain't on my team, I hate you. Like, oh, damn. Okay. He's like, that gives Tampa Bay such a nasty pass rush and just this aura of just like,
that's that shit though.
That's rocking.
That's that shit you want in minicamp, man. Like we talked about earlier, PR nightmares. Like that is, you can make a sick edit of that, man. Like,
exactly.
Wait for midseason next year and let the edits just speak for themselves if this kid balls out, because that's what I love, man. Amon-Ra talked about it. So many guys have talked about it. Like, you think guys don't have relationships with guys in this draft? Like, they all went to college together. They're all, whether it's the SEC or whatever the case may be, everybody knows everybody. And and I think we do this in life also. Like, you know what I mean? Whether it's at work and somebody gets a promotion that you don't, or, you're talking to a girl and she ends up liking the guy with the Edgar haircut more than you. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, okay. I love this scene from The Bear where Carmi's like, okay, fuck you, watch this. And that's really how a lot of these guys go about it, man. And it's my favorite thing in the world to see a guy motivated. Like the Bears didn't take a defensive lineman. They didn't add an edge rusher. So all of Bears Twitter is like, a motivated Dio is about to feed families. And we're all like, we know that's not the case, but it's like, it's funny to like have those conversations.
It is. And it is cool because, like you said, and he's probably, those guys are always going to be with him. Like, he's always probably going to consider them family. But it is cool at the same time because it is one of those, like you said, and like you ask all the time, like, where's the rivalry? Like, where's the heat? Like, don't get me wrong. We can be cool. We can be respectful. Like, we're bro, like off the field, like we're bros, we're cool, everything like that. I don't want nothing bad to happen to you, but I want you to get your ass kicked. Like, Like on the field, no. We throwing hands, it's going down like competition. And like you said, you feel like you lose that with a lot of rivalries and you lose a lot of that competition. Whereas now it's like if you ain't on my team, don't like you.
No, it's like, I
Don't
mean,
like you.
we have those conversations in the NFL all the time too. And, you're a semi-Bears fan. And something that pissed me off was when Matt LaFleur and Matt Eberflus went to a Bucs game together. What the fuck are we talking about? Like, what are you doing? Like, Ben Johnson absolutely shitting on him post-game with the handshake is peak. I mean, it's everything you ever wanted as a fan. I don't care about what's going on in the locker room. I don't care what's going on in between the lines. As a fan, that's what you want to see. So when you see guys motivated, when you see rivalries in the NFL start to heat up, that's my favorite time, man, because that's the shit that you'll remember as a kid. I will never forget some of the battles Jay Cutler went through with defensive players, absolutely shoving it and then backing it up too. I mean, it's just one of those things where that's why we love the game. You know what I mean? I don't want people to be friends. I want people to hate each other.
And how often, and I'm not gonna lie, as much as it was super painful to watch this old man come out of retirement to play, even if it was for just a few games, like, can we just sit back and appreciate Phillip Rivers coming back, even if it's just like the most PG, corny, like shit talking ever? It's like,
yeah, why not?
God, you miss it. God, you gotta miss it. He's like, what are you doing? You ain't the mic. You ain't doing like, oh, you gotta love it.
I love it. And that's the stuff like you don't realize, and all due respect to the other 31 quarterbacks in the league. But the way Caleb Williams conducts himself, the way Caleb Williams moves, Tony's bringing back that old school style of football, that Johnny Elway, that Aaron Rodgers style football where it's like, fuck you, watch this. I'm about to beat your ass and you're going to thank me for it. And I love stuff like that, man. Like, all due respect, Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, he wasn't doing that.
Not that. Turn the TVs off. They're talking bad about me in the weight room. Oh, we got ourselves a bitch, brother.
Which speaking of which, because I feel like this is kind of a good transition for him as far as shit talking, because I have one as far as one of these go. What would you say your two worst picks are out of this draft? Because I got one. And it's going to be some shit talking. And I got a really hot take that I'm probably going to get absolutely bodied for when you make the clips. But honestly, it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it to me.
I am excited for it as well. I don't know what it is yet. I don't.
I say, Mike has not heard this. Like, this is just one I thought about it. I'm like, oh, I'm going to get probably absolutely bodied for this. I'm going to get so much hate, but I feel like it's true.
I haven't. I'm looking through it right now. Sorry, I'm trying to like.
I say, if you want, I can give mine first. It might be a little bit of a shock if you want to enjoy the hot take while you're kind of looking.
I would love it. I would truly love it. Go ahead.
So truly, my first one that again is going to be a hot take. While I feel that Ty Simpson was the worst pick of the first round, the really bad part, out of all the first round quarterbacks that have come out of Alabama since 2007, I feel he has the best potential to be successful. And you want to know why? Because Nick Saban didn't coach him all the way to the NFL. And I know the hate that I will get for that comment. And here's why I say it, right? Here is why. You can look at all the first round Alabama quarterbacks that are still in the league, right? Tua Tagovailoa. He's no longer a franchise starting quarterback. He's now the backup to Michael Penix in Atlanta. Tua did not work out. Oh, so you look surprised by that. I'm like, no, buddy, that's true.
No, it is. I forgot where all these guys went. When you said Jalen Waddle earlier, I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, Jalen Waddle, also Alabama. Now, I know a whole bunch of fans, what about Jalen Hurts? He went to Oklahoma for 1 year, and he learned under Lincoln Riley, and then lo and behold, he became a pretty good quarterback. Now, everybody, oh, but he started for Bama. He did, but then he got benched for Tua to win that national title, and then it was back and forth, and that's why he said, screw this, I'm out and going to Oklahoma. Now, while Jalen still claims Bama, he claims Oklahoma as well, so I'm not including Jalen in that.
Yeah.
Now, the jury's out on Bryce Young still. He got benched for a little bit. He came back hot. It seems like the Panthers are trying to build around him, but I'm going to be 100% honest, not totally sold on him yet, though. And then Jalen Milroe, he's just back up. He didn't really get a shot.
Sure.
Nothing I can do against that. But then all the other ones, like AJ McCarron, Cocker, like all of those other previous Alabama quarterbacks, I think the one that had the longest tenure was AJ McCarron, and he was primarily a backup, had more success when he went to the UFL, and now he's the head coach of, I believe, the Birmingham Stallions, and they're like 1-4 in the UFL. So out of all that, because Ty Simpson has spent the last 2 years at minimum being coached by Kalen DeBoer, I think he has the highest potential to succeed. Still hate the pick, because to me, I get where the Rams decided, hey, we need to have a guy to fill in for Matt Stafford post Matt Stafford. But there was something that was brought up earlier that I thought was a really good point. So from 2021, when Ty Simpson graduated high school, if let's say hypothetically he sits behind Matt Stafford for 2 years, that's 2028. He's played 15 games of football from 2021 to 2028. That's 7 years, and he'll have potentially only played 15 games of football, barring any type of injury to Matt Stafford, barring any type of early retirement for Stafford, whatever the case may be. Like, is that really the move you want to do, especially with how well the Rams bounced back after the going all in to trade for Matt? They still had Aaron Donald. They still had all those pieces. They bounced back really quick with a whole lot of draft pieces. They got really young, really fast. Now, could some people argue, well, they got Trent McDuffie for a first-round pick? I mean, yeah, if you really want to throw that to like make yourself feel better, you could. But again, even though I think it's the worst pick, I think he has the best chance of succeeding just because he's not coached by Nick Saban into the NFL.
Yeah.
And he's got Sean McVay coaching him as well. The second one, I don't have nearly as much. I don't have nearly as much on him. I didn't really understand the pick because when I watched all of these mock drafts and I watched all these guys, all these different people make theirs, I didn't see this guy's name anywhere near the first round. The tackle out of Arizona State that went to Pittsburgh at 21.
Yeah.
Didn't really understand that move. I'm like,
well, not to cut you off, but like you saw the video that happened though, right? Like they were literally on the phone with Lemon, convinced that they're about to take Lemon, which adds up. But I just think they didn't even know what pick they just made, man. I think they pivoted and I think they kind of choked and I don't think they expected it. Like I want you to keep going, but like that was insane. That was what a snipe by the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, and so here's a funny thing I read about earlier that kind of ties in with that. So there's a theory that both New England and Pittsburgh might be in trouble because they were talking to players that Philly was in the middle of drafting. They were on the phone with already talking to, which is against NFL policy. Like you can talk to them all the way up until they're drafted. But after they put the pick in and you're still talking to them, that could be considered basically like draft interference.
Yeah.
There could potentially be punishments thrown in there. So I wasn't a big fan of that. And then honestly, when I looked at the rest of their draft and I'm like, what in the hell are y'all doing? Like, I feel like y'all are just reaching for these randos when there are plenty of other decent picks you could go after.
The QB they took, I'm just looking at it and I'm just like, all right.
Oh, Drew Aller. Oh,
yeah.
dude.
Like, good luck. Like, have a blast. What a waste of like, here's my thing. And we can get into it in a little bit or just another show. But like, I'm very heavy on just because you don't have a quarterback doesn't mean you need to draft one. Like, you really, like, if you want Arch, go get Arch. You know what I mean? But don't draft a quarterback, and not that they did, but like don't draft a quarterback in the second or third round to just sell jerseys or to just give fans like okay, this is the guy to believe in, because one, that's unfair to the kid, and two, that's unfair to the fan base. You know what I mean? Like I'm not buying this kid's jersey if he's not going to play for real. You're going to draft a quarterback in another 2 years. We saw that so many times with the Arizona Cardinals prior to getting a guy like Kyler Murray. And then Tone, if you want my two, number one, I'm going Ty Simpson. I'm going
Okay.
Ty Simpson, and I'm fully in agreement with you, but I'm going to look at it from a different perspective.
Okay.
This is the window. The window is now. Puka Nacua is in and out of rehab after one of the most emotionally damaging seasons of his life with what he went on off the field. And God bless him, and I wish him nothing but the best. Devontae Adams is aging. Matthew Stafford is aging.
Yep.
This is the moment. When you look back on it, this reminds me so much of when the Green Bay Packers drafted Jordan Love instead of getting Aaron Rodgers another weapon after another NFC championship failure. Instead of drafting T. Higgins, Jalen Johnson, Michael Pittman Jr., and so many other great players, you took Jordan Love, which granted, in the long term, it worked out for now. You know what I mean? You got your franchise guy that you want to say is your franchise guy. That's perfectly fine. Caleb Williams' son does a great job at doing what he does, which is
Very
lose
true.
playoff games. But I think for me, it's definitely like frustrating if you're Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay, because you're like, imagine they got Lemon. Like, and I heard him even mention that, where they were like, what kind of historic numbers could they have put up with Puka, Adams, and Lemon?
Well,
I
and think about
mean,
it too. Like you have a kid that's already young in Puka. Like, you're going to have to pay him money, but you still have a young core receiver. Like you said, Devontae's older. Let this kid come in. You can do the really good rotation as far as snaps. Like, nobody has to get overworked. Like, you're perfectly good. Like you said, the numbers you could put up, and you got him for at least 5 years. You don't have to pay him. And you're LA. Like, the amount of success you have, the fact that you'll still more than likely have Sean McVay, barring him retiring, because I know we heard rumors about that a couple years ago, that maybe Sean McVay is also considering retirement. Like, that's going to be a free agent, hot commodity destination for people to go to. Like, you're not going to be short on getting somebody that's going to want to come to play to LA. And I mean, heck, he got success out of somebody like Baker Mayfield. Now, I'm not going to say he's going to turn everybody into just an absolute stud.
yeah.
And I'm not saying you still can't even go get a quarterback, but why are you spending the 13th overall pick on a kid that, again, let's say hypothetically, he sits for 2 years? Like, why did you have him sit for 2 years? Like, Stetson Bennett's still there. He's still sitting on the bench. Like, you can go get anybody to sit. I'll sit on the bench for you for 2 years if that's really what you want.
Right. I'll hold a clipboard. I don't mind.
Right.
No, yeah, that was nuts. And then, yeah, that's just kind of how I feel. It kind of tells you, hey, man, you're on your way out. And especially after coming off of an MVP, if I'm Matthew Stafford, I'm like, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like that pisses me the fuck off. And I totally get it. If it's like, again, this is where my bias comes in. If Justin Fields way back in the day falls all the way to 15, okay, fuck it. But Ty Simpson, he ain't even the most popular Simpson I know, and the one's not real.
I say, and the bad part, there's a lot of people thought he might go first round, but if he did, it was going to be later, and it might have been maybe to Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Now I do have a question.
Okay.
I'm gonna say this one is one of my least favorite picks.
Okay.
But I don't know why. KC had top 10 aspirations.
Oh yeah.
And fell to 24 to Cleveland. And I hate it because I hate Cleveland. No really other reason. But no, in all seriousness, I did believe in my heart of hearts, Cleveland had to go back-to-back offensive line. They had to. And for you to go wide receiver and get KC, I like KC. I think KC is going to be a talented player. But in that position, it's like, name me 2 offensive linemen on the Browns.
I'll do you one better. Can you name me a wide receiver for the Browns other than Jerry Jeudy?
They still got Cedric Tillman?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, go Vols. That's the only reason I know Cedric Tillman.
Like, I don't know about that one. That man's bounced around the league too.
Cedric Tillman. Let's see where Cedric Tillman is today, just for shits and giggles.
But I don't disagree. But Cleveland was another one. They needed so much help in so many different spots. So he is still on the Browns?
Yes,
okay. But I mean, they needed so much. Like, they did need another offensive lineman of some type. I mean, they did get the one, which is great. I thought for sure they might get the kid out of Utah.
Yeah.
The one that ended up actually going to the Patriots. I was like, okay, maybe they'll get him too. But they did need an
Oh, you're
infusion
talking
of
about
youth.
Caleb Luma,
Yeah.
Lomu? Yeah, I mean that kid. I heard that kid's a stud, and like
Oh, yeah.
everyone's so excited about it. If you would have walked out with both of those dogs, I know
Mhm.
it's not pretty. I know kids aren't buying those jerseys,
But you solid on that O-line.
but Shador's all right. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you're gonna protect your quarterback, and that's all that matters at the end of the day, brother. Like for
Yeah.
real. Like I don't know. It
And
rubbed me the wrong way.
And you can shore up your run game better. Like, now, is it going to be as pretty of a prolific passing attack? No, because you're not going to have as many people to throw to. But I'd argue too, with the exception of, I would say to me, the exception of defensive tackle, quarterback, and again, maybe tight end, just because I didn't know the tight ends as well coming out of this draft, really, or I didn't feel that a lot of them were super, super high draft picks. Other than that, every other position was deep. Defensive back was deep. Offensive line was deep. Like wide receiver was deep. Running back was deep. Like there are so many other needs that you could have addressed. And don't get me wrong, I think Casey Concepcion was a first round pick, like hands down.
He's a
Because
dog.
again, he's a great wide receiver and he's a great returner. So I watched him absolutely destroy my LSU Tigers for 2 years.
Yeah.
Don't like the dude, but I respect the dude's game because dude is an absolute stud.
Yeah. I will say this too. I kind of do. Do I want to have that conversation this early? I don't know. Xavier Thomas to the Bears. This was the third round. After talking to you about it, kind of frustrated me because Ryan Poles historically with Velus Jones and who's the other one out of Cincinnati that played with you know what I'm talking about. Tyler Scott, Velus Jones, Xavier Thomas. You told me, yeah, man, he's probably going to be a good kick returner or a punt returner. I was like, no fucking way. You just did that in the third round.
Yeah,
like that just pissed.
absolutely.
When you don't have an edge to pair up with Montez Sweat, that pissed me the fuck off. That made me
Absolutely.
mad. But look, I get it. And I spoke about it on the Shy Kid, and I was talking about how you lose DJ Moore. You got to replace a DJ Moore. Even if that means it's the number 3 guy, that means Luther's up to 1. Now Rome's 2. You got to find that 3. Is that your 3? Maybe. Who knows? But it's not. Out of all the LSU wide receivers over the last decade, to say that you got Xavier Thomas sure does piss me off a certain type of way.
It's one of those. So he transferred over from Mississippi State. He wasn't really crazy there at Mississippi State. I think he had the idea of transfer to LSU, maybe be a little bit more electric, a little bit better used. And he did have some, I guess, key moments. But yeah, he's primarily a returner. And I'm not going to sit here and say that he was electric on there either, because they got the kid out of Kentucky, Barian Brown, who was more electric. So it's just one of those. He's like the odd man out. And I will say that it might piss you off a little bit more, buddy. But according to Lance Zierlein, who's a NFL analyst, and this is from NFL.com, Thomas is likely to be viewed as a wide receiver 5 candidate with value as a return man, but teams could dig a little deeper on his potential as a running back.
Yeah, it just sounds like Velus Jones. It really just sounds like Velus Jones to me. And like, that's no disrespect. Like, I'm going to give the kid the benefit of the doubt, but it's something about the third round and Ryan Poles where he just says, give me the buns. And he wants buns with extra butter, man. I mean, he just gives you the most buns possible. I don't know what it is. It pisses me off. It genuinely pisses me the fuck off. Truly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I needed an edge. I still believe in Austin Booker, the boogeyman. And I still believe in Montez Sweat, but it's just like, really?
Yeah. But like you said, and I mean, it is one of those, I feel like the third and fourth round, it's 50-50. It's either guys that might be able to really surprise you and become like a starter, or it's guys that you ended up actually you're like really good depth. Like we don't see you going crazy, but we see you as like really good depth. Yeah. But yeah, it, like I said, I liked the overall draft as far as the talent coming out. People, I guess, weren't as big of fans, but I was a particularly big fan of it.
Sure.
But another guy that we wanted to talk about, because again, he made headlines. It was even starting to make headlines again because of it. Diego Pavia becomes the first Heisman finalist candidate since 2014 to go undrafted. But just today, so April 28th, he just signed a 3-year deal with the Baltimore Ravens after being invited to their camp. So I guess this kind of leads into the other part of the question that we were talking about before the show. Prior to this happening, Pat McAfee had said Diego Pavia might be the perfect quarterback prototype for a league like the UFL. And that might still be the case because we don't know if he's actually going to make it to the main roster. Like, yeah, they signed him. Doesn't mean he's going to make the cut. He may end up as a practice squad guy. We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But there's a whole lot of off the field issues. And it's really not even him getting in trouble. It's his mouth that really just gets him in trouble. The talking smack after the Heisman votes, that he didn't care for the voters. And then I don't know if you saw with his, he had a sit down with John Gruden in his quarterback camp. He was talking to him about an agent. Now, typical NFL agents apparently get anywhere between 5 to 10% of your contract earnings whenever you get a new contract, which I'm like, I'm in the wrong business if I'm like Kirk Cousins' agent, because that man is making bank.
Balling.
But like making absolute
balling
bank
for no reason. He don't even call the teams call him. They
literally. But Diego's like, no, nobody's getting my money. It's just me. And I'm like, man.
And in fairness, Tom, before you say anything, it's not the first time we've seen that. Roquan Smith doesn't have an agent. That was like a big thing with the Chicago Bears. Yeah. It was like, man, we don't know how to talk to this guy. You know what I mean? It just makes things hard.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson doesn't either.
Yeah. So I mean, I can't sit here and act like he's an asshole. It's just that the way he vocally said it, it's like, all right.
So here's how, if it was me and if I could have like a little whisper in the ear, this is how I would pitch it and portray it, right?
Yeah.
Let your agent be your advocate as far as, like if he's a hot-tempered, hot-headed dude, that's cool. That's fine. You got passion, you got emotion, like that is who you are. Let your agent kind of smooth things over. Let them like, hey, yeah, he's a little rough around the edges, but he's got heart. Look at what he did with Vanderbilt for the last couple of years. Like he was a Heisman finalist candidate. Like the kid can ball. He's got that. Now he's got a lot he got to work with, but the potential for him to ball out is there. Like you got to have somebody in your corner for you. Now here's the other thing too that I would say as far as not having an agent. You don't have to, but I would say let the agent just get your foot in the door, kind of see things and learn first, just to make sure that you're crossing all the T's, dotting all the I's. Make sure you got at least the foundations for yourself as far as negotiations go. And then if you afterwards you want to be like, hey, I don't need you, I don't want you.
Right.
I'll do everything else. We'll figure it out after. We'll figure it out after. That's what I would recommend, because you don't have to have an agent. Like you said, it may be a little bit more difficult, but at least make sure you got an understanding of everything before you're like, I don't need you. Like, nah, dude, just like make sure to advocate for yourself in the best possible way.
Okay. Love it. That was Professor Tony. Welcome to his session. Now you're talking to Coach Mike. This isn't Coach Mike in football. This is Coach Mike in life, because I want to start off. If we're talking to Diego, not that he's listening, he don't give a fuck, but here's what I would say. Shut the fuck up. I have never heard somebody talk about how they almost won a Heisman or any award so much than this kid. Saw a video of some girl, famous girl, streaming at some UFC event or something, and he walks up to her, and the guy walks up to the girl and he goes, hey, this is Diego. He's a football player. He almost won the Heisman. Damn, bro. And then he tries to rizz up the girl, and the girl's like, and she says it to the stream. She's like, that was the weirdest interaction of my entire life. And she was basically like, get the fuck away from me. And like this kid just screaming, I almost won a Heisman. When you look at his fucking numbers, it does nothing for me. These numbers, Tone, like they're not bad. Not bad whatsoever. 3,500 yards, 29 touchdowns.
And that was last year?
That was last year. The year before that, the Heisman year, right?
No. Last year was the Heisman year. Year
Okay,
before
so
was just kind of his like breakout year, if
okay,
you
so
want to call it that.
2025 is the Heisman year. 3,500 yards, 29 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Brother, Joe Burrow at LSU shit out 29 touchdowns like it was nothing. And I understand you're at Vanderbilt. It is what it is at the end of the day. Shout out Jay Cutler, also went to Vandy. But like, I'm not going to sit up here and say that like that was anything than what it was. Johnny
Right.
Manziel won the fucking Heisman and wasn't even the number one fucking pick. I
Right.
don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I mean, Travis Hunter wins a Heisman, and a year later, he's a full-time DB.
Yeah.
We do not care.
Yep.
Nobody cares that you were the best at beating young men. Congratulations, Diego. Shut the fuck up. That's what I would say. If you want to say you almost win a Heisman a million times, you know what that tells me? That nobody was really watching your games because you have to tell us who you are.
And this is going to be a little bit of a shot, but it was the first thing I thought about when you said that, oh yeah, he's a football player and he almost won the Heisman. Oh, cool. So you were the first to lose. So you were almost good enough, but not quite. And that girl's probably thinking the same thing. Like, yep, you almost won the Heisman and you almost get my number. Like,
didn't even make it to the fucking playoffs. What are we talking about? And Tone, did Vanderbilt even make it to the college football playoffs?
Nope, neither.
How the fuck are you a Heisman finalist and your team sucks ass?
So this is where I would say he kind of gets the
benefit of the doubt there. Fuck that.
No, it's gonna sound really, really bad. It's where he kind of gets the Fernando Mendoza, like you went to such a bad program,
right? Like Travis Hunter too, and it's like.
And immediately flipped it around to where they were better. And for Vandy, I mean, this is the best they have been in years, like ever. You know, beat Alabama for the first time since like 1984. So it's like you had success. Like I gotta give him that. But I think that's where a lot of people are like, he was able to do that at Vanderbilt of all places. Like, he beat Bama, he beat LSU. He beat some of these teams that he wasn't necessarily supposed to beat at Vanderbilt of all places. So I think that's where a lot of people really fed into the hype and really gave him, I guess, much kind of like you were saying, the benefit of the doubt. To me, I kind of call it the Mendoza thing of like, you took a really crappy team and made them much more relevant than what they ever have.
But in that same breath, Fernando took that crappy team and won a national fucking championship. You know what I mean? And that's like my only thing where it's like, what the fuck are we talking about? Because if you can't say that. Can't say that. If you're the smartest kid in the dumb class, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Congratulations.
Hey, it's one of those what do you call the last person that has like a D- coming out of medical school?
What?
You still call them doctor because they still finished. They didn't finish well, but you still finished.
I guess.
But all of that being said, though, Pat McAfee brought it up on his show that I thought was interesting. And again, like or hate the dude, I feel like it would be interesting. Do you feel like he would be the perfect? I really don't want to call him the poster boy for it, but I kind of feel like if you wanted people to really watch, like, God, I would just want to see how this dude performs. If he either does really well or shits the bucket, like kind of making the poster boy for the UFL.
He would 100%. He would, Tone. Like and it's because of the vibe. It's because he knows it, and it's because he knows that I am making you guys money. I am bringing people in to watch, even though probably aren't that many people really watching. It's not that big. It's not like Shador going to the XFL. You know what I mean? This is Diego. Like, respectfully, bro, like we don't give a fuck. Like you have there's no Dion attached to this. There's no Shyla. There's nothing. It's just a guy who almost won a Heisman. Congratulations. Like, and that's where I'm at. So I think it's really interesting. I think it's something that it really would be fun to really see him ball out. But again, I'd still be more interested in watching Austin Reed. But
no, and that's fair. And I do think we were kind of talking about it beforehand, and before we get to our next topic or last topic, I think it would be cool if timeline wise it would work out for some of these kids, like post draft, like say you go undrafted. It's like, okay, let me ball out in the UFL potentially for a little bit to put me in a different situation, even if it is just semi pro or essentially just preseason. See how I do in a new system, in a new environment that's not Power 4, that's somewhere different. Let me get a chance to really develop, play with other, like basically grown men, kind of like how the G League does it. Of all right, let's see how I do in a new environment that's not college, and go from there. I think that would personally be cool. Now, I don't think timeline wise that will ever work. But for some of these kids, if it doesn't work out, or if they're trying to just stay ready in case somebody gets hurt, training camp, whatever the case may be, I would still say go ball out in the UFL for the last couple weeks of the regular season. And if your team makes the playoffs, like, yeah, go for it. Like, hey, I was a difference maker. Like, I went there and I won my team a championship. Like, I'm that good. Like, give me a chance. Like, throw me a bone.
Say in a I don't know what his contract currently looks like. It's a 3-year deal, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know the guarantees of that or what
I don't know
means.
The money.
But for me, it's like, hey, I would have took these next couple weeks to join the UFL if possible. And hey, let's try to make a run, try to build that up before mini camps and then see if you get invited to mini camps. Say you win a championship in the UFL. That's fucking dope. All right. Hey, come to training camp, see what you can do. You know what I mean? Instead, it's just a lot of talking, not a lot of results. And now you get a 3-year deal just for whatever is kind of fucking crazy to me,
and there's no guarantee you stay on the roster either. Like, cause they could easily just be like, yeah, nope, never mind.
Yeah.
But real quick though, the very last topic I want to talk about, because I thought it was kind of cool. And again, you follow college football, but I also feel like you're a pretty good neutral perspective.
Check it out, guys. Check it out. All right.
I know Mike kind of has a new allegiance. So Randy, if you're watching this, close your eyes, buddy. Close your eyes, Randy.
I just like the shirt. I'm sorry.
But there's all this talk recently as far as who's the better conference, the Big Ten or the SEC. The Big Ten had I think it was 10 or 11 first round picks. The SEC had 7, the Big 12 and the ACC had 6, and then pretty much everybody else was the rest of that, because math is hard and I don't want to do math. But one of the biggest advocates for the Big Ten, and more so that it's a Disney hype up because they own ESPN and they own the coverage for the SEC, that Disney is making it seem like all the SEC is still like the powerhouse, like they're still the best teams, they're still all of this. And so he thinks it's actually miles apart, that the SEC is actually more on the level or just above the ACC and the Big 12, and the Big 10 is in its own category now, which I'm like, don't think that's true. Whereas Joel Klatt, who primarily covers the Big 10, I feel like he's a little bit more neutral. He kind of brought up like, hey, yeah, the Big 10 is more top heavy, but the SEC is truly deeper. Like even the teams in the middle of the pack and the bottom of the SEC are better and produced more talent than a lot of the middle of the pack and bottom tier teams that the Big 10 have. So, but Mike, your thoughts though, like if you had to give a vote, Big 10 or SEC, who are you voting for who you think is the best conference in college football?
Big 10. Big 10 because I'm in the Midwest, and that's where I'm at. I don't know FCC teams because I'm not that intelligent in that space. But yeah, for sure Big 10, just for those reasons. I know Big 10's not great. I understand that. I acknowledge that. But they've been winning lately. They've been winning
the last
lately.
3 natties. Last 3 natties.
Yeah, it's what the fuck I'm talking about. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. How could I not be from the Midwest and not say the Big 10?
I don't know. I mean, I'm from the Midwest and I got an SEC team that I root for behind me, but I also go to the SEC team as far as like schooling goes. So I mean,
yeah.
And hey, you're wearing an SEC team shirt right now.
Hey, take it easy.
And hey, you rooted for the Vols at one point. You were all about the Rocky Top at one point.
I still love the Rocky Top. I'll never not love the Rocky Top.
Hey, even being an LSU fan, again, I might get bodied for this if anybody listens and finds out. I don't really care, but I love the game. I love the sport. I have really been rocking with Rocky Top for the last couple of years now, even though LSU, like ever since like that massive hype up game between Tennessee and Alabama with Hendon Hooker at the quarterback and Tennessee, and it was like, you gotta love the Rocky Top. You gotta love the Rocky Top just for that.
Slang that thing, boy. Shout out Hendon Hooker. He just got an opportunity somewhere else, I saw.
Did he?
Yeah, he
Oh
did.
yeah, he did. He did sign with somebody. I don't
I
remember
forgot
where.
who he signed with, but I was really excited about it. I think it was the Titans, if I'm not mistaken.
Was it? Oh, that poor guy. That poor-
Hendon Hooker.
I know Mitch Trubisky's on the Titans.
Maybe that was it. No, yeah, it's Hendon Hooker too.
Oh wow.
Wow. Shout out to him.
Cam Ward, Mitchell Trubisky, and Hendon Hooker.
So we got a Tar Heel, a Vol, and where did Cam Ward go? Florida?
Miami.
Miami?
Technically, he was Washington State for 2 years. Then he was Miami.
And we'll just say Miami.
But most recently is what they claim. So he might.
Yeah. I always find that interesting how guys like Caleb claims 2 teams too. He loves the Sooners. But
Did he? Does he?
Yeah, he's talked about it before.
Okay. I know he kind of had mixed feelings when he was leaving.
Yeah.
It's Spencer Rattler who hates Oklahoma, but that's because he got benched for.
That's because Spencer Rattler's hey, let's be honest. That's because Spencer Rattler's a piece of shit. Like I fucking hate Spencer Rattler. He was a dickhead in high school. He's a fucking dickhead now. Fucking
That's
asshole.
Fair. That's fair.
Guy cheated on his test on a Netflix special. What a fucking idiot. Cameras around him the whole time. What a goof. What a goof.
Yeah, why would you ever do that? Like, brother, you know you're gonna get caught.
But I never cheated on a test before.
I have. I ain't get caught though. I ain't gonna tell you what test either. But I showed you.
Trying, brother, man.
Exactly. Hey, I just use it. I just call it being strategic with my resources. That's what I'm gonna call it.
Yeah, I call it Google. The fuck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, Mike, buddy, I appreciate you coming on. It's a blast as always. Love talking ball with you. We'll definitely be back over the off season. Like Mike said, there's a whole lot of drama and stories to talk about, such as all of New England and Mike Vrabel needing I'm surprised they didn't draft a relationship counselor in some round. I feel like they needed to.
Yeah, but AJ Brown just read a book about it, so they're gonna trade for him soon, and then they're gonna talk about it.
That's also a thing we can talk about. But Mike, buddy, I appreciate you being on. We will be back over the summer to continue to talk about more NFL college football. Appreciate everybody tuning in. If you like this, check out Military Broadcast Radio for all the great veterans, helping give them voice. They have great other creators and whatnot to be able to check out. If you like what you see here, check me out on social media, Inside the Hoosier Mind, pretty much everywhere. If you like Mike's stuff, check him out at The Shy Kid. He's going to be covering all the Cubby stuff since it's thick into baseball season. I don't really do baseball like that. I like college baseball.
We're working on it.
But for whatever reason, my LSU Tigers have decided to poop the bed after winning the Natty. I don't understand what has happened. I'm like, y'all were so good. And you just, and what happened? But nonetheless, though, and then, of course, if you want great beards like what Mike and I have, if you want to smell good and smell great, check out Gunfighter Beard Co. out of South Carolina, Marine Vet, got great products, great stuff. Appreciate everybody tuning in, and we will see y'all later.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.